Morning, Trade Pros. Sound check 1, 2. This lighting really makes me look terrible. But good morning. Hope you guys are great. I had to take a quick trip to Toronto to do some banking, some pretty urgent banking stuff. Money movement process is not as easy as the States. A little more archaic, the structure. But I'm here for you. I hope you guys have had a wonderful start to the morning. We're still going to do the trading room. I'm in a hotel, Prashant. Yes, sir. Made it to Toronto, checked into a hotel, and I have a flight back. I made it in last night at like 1:30 in the morning. Gonna right after the trading room go and do some banking, and then straight back to the airport to get home in time for around midnight or so. So I'll probably get some better sleep tonight. But I look like poo today. So I acknowledge it right off the bat. Save the comments. I look tired. I look like I'm in a hotel, and yeah, it's pretty snowy back here. See if we can see. Look at this. This isn't what I signed up for. Well, actually, it is technically what I signed up for. But oh, you can't see anything. Look, there's snow. There's misery. I can't believe the plane landed last night. It was snowing so much. It was actually bonkers. I was like, oh, well, we're gonna skid off the runway, and then what am I gonna tell the trade pros tomorrow morning? Okay, so let's go through the update. Let's get started. Morning to everyone in the trading room. Morning to everybody on YouTube. The best time of day where we get everyone together. Here's your morning market update. Hope the audio quality is good. I have a little mic here that from DJI, the Mic 3 that should be working pretty well. All right, S&P 500 is up this morning along with NASDAQ, Russell, and the Dow. We're seeing quite a bit of upside here. Dollar index is flat. WTI, which is oil, is up slightly. Bitcoin is resuming some upside, up 3.4%. Ethereum's up 4.8%. And, Bitcoin is important. It reclaimed the 65,000 handle with pairing up some of yesterday's losses. We're up 3.4%. Ethereum's up 4.8. Things are good in the crypto space for a day. Let's see how it holds in the commodities space. Gold surging back up to 51.28, the 53.10 range. Strong upside driven by US dollar weakness. Perfect time for me to convert some Canadian dollars to US. Unless it continues to get weaker, then, it won't be the perfect time. Let me close this blind a little because it's not that great. Where's a little stick? All right. Um, in some of the overnight drivers of tech, Anthropic had some partnerships that it announced with multiple companies, which kind of gave a little bit of life to AI in the software space. Tech is firmly up. All five, well, five of seven Meg 7 names are up, and Apple struggling this morning. It's down off of it's actually pushing two lows on the overnight ETH, extended trading hours, but most tech is up this morning. Nasdaq to the ES ratio is also driving higher, so there's appetite for risk on Nasdaq and tech stocks, and we're seeing some of the volatility drop off. And structurally, we've kind of flipped into a bullish market. And I have a bullish trading plan today for the first time in I don't know, I want to say since like late January, early February. It's been a long time since we've been looking to buy dips. So I'll talk to you about that a little bit more. Yesterday, Donald Trump had a big, long State of the Union address. All you need to know is market showed very little reaction to it overall to the so too State of the Union. Pardon me. On the FX space, we're still watching the yen. The yen's pushing a little bit higher. Japan nominated two academics to their Bank of Japan board, and they're dovish, which is a strange move considering the dovishness should lead to weaker yen, which is what they don't want. All right, USD Jap yen is pushing higher, so the dollar's going up and the yen's going down. Um, there's some pressure there. Major Japanese brokerage warning we could test post-election lows of BOJ points confirmed dovish. They're saying that there may not be as many rate hikes this year. There's some news sources saying that some of the BOJ Bank of Japan board wants more rate hikes. So a little bit of discombobulation there. 160 is the level to watch. You guys remember that? It's Japanese yen is very important this year. I think people are taking a blind eye to it until it hits the market and things just deteriorate really quickly. Then everyone will be interested. But I'm developing the story for you as we go because I think it's a really important pair to watch. All right, looking ahead today, we got some Fed speakers, NVIDIA earnings, really important after the bell. All right, that's going to impact Nasdaq greatly. Also reporting that Salesforce, Lowe's, and that's kind of about it. We had easy final inflation metrics overnight. That's already released. It came in line with expectations, so nothing new there. Let's get into the trading plan today because I do have quite a bit planned for you, and we're gonna do that right now. So I'm gonna turn the camera off, share the screen, and again, I'm on one max screen now. A little bit more challenging to do this update, but here it is. You should see it. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger and open up the US and expand it out. And let's talk about it because that's what we're here to do. All right. So, oh, really big MBO, 350 lots at 35. Look at this, 88, 100, 100 lots. That's pretty big. All right. So I'm going to pull up the stuff here. All right. The story for the US today, or the US session yesterday, was that we opened up at 68.47. Here was the open. All right, we saw some downside pretty quickly into that open session. It kind of broke below the yesterday's prior day low. Well, it's not yesterday's prior day low, it's the Monday prior day low. It was prior day low of Tuesday, and the prior day Tuesday was Monday. So we broke Monday's low. We got excited for some downside potential because the plan was bearish, and very quickly this was a liquidity trap for the bears, got them stuck short, and we rallied up, and we were just very patiently waiting. We said to ourselves, look, we're gonna wait here. There's a lot of upside. There's some resistance levels to the immediate upside. 68.80 was our flip zone yesterday, and this was kind of the first short trade that we had on the day with the team. There was a ton of orders hitting these little green lines here. Well, they're not green. They're not little. They're green. That's for sure. And they're thick. These were big orders to trade through the book. Aggressive on the market buy side. We had 300 lot trade twice, and we had a 500 lot into the 75 level trade, all in one shot. So really big, long, or buyers chasing the market higher, and we're saying, look, let's get to that transition level or the flip zone. That will probably be the last short idea before we break and continue higher. Surely enough, this is what ended up happening. And the MBO was really strong yesterday. The market by order, we had a lot of upside very early on after the session opened. We looked at the MBO and we're like, there's a lot to the upside. So we're going to stay short because the structure was short, but understand that we have to pick really good levels and we don't want to keep selling if this thing is going to be so bid. All right. So price continues higher to the 68.80 level, right? We shorted into that strength for the really good winning trade of the day. Then we marked the high. We continued to go higher from that level, and we marked the high at 69.1275. That is your current prior day high. All right. Before we pulled back a little and closed at 69.04 half, we closed right into this big resistance. 69.05 has some really massive order flow transactions from the past couple weeks, or even longer than that now, and it's been a relevant big level for a very long time. You can see we danced around it and kind of pinned to it temporarily into the close and going into the open of overnight. So for yesterday's range, 84 and a quarter points, quite the move. And you had, if you add how much it actually moved with the rotations, easily 160 points of opportunity. All right, on 1.33 million volume. But the problem with that volume was that it had the third consecutive decline in a row on a daily volume, which is actually good when you're seeing selling and it's drying up on the volume. It's kind of lined up nice with the breakout. And today we're firmly above structural lows, and we're in the bullish structure trading opportunities. The story for the overnight is we sold off of the open a little bit, then we rallied back up above the prior day high, couldn't hold it, came back in and sold off and formed the overnight low right at our really big support, this 90 to 94 level. All right. Found the buyers lifted. We continued to go higher, and I think the overnight high is set now at 69.36, very firm to the upside. I had written here overnight high at 28.3 quarter, but now it's 36 half. We're trading close to the overnight high. All right, volume so far 142,000. It's on the low side. Definitely not super duper exciting. It's, lower, but in bullish markets, we do tend to get lower volume on the way up. All right, the trading plan today is simple. We're transitioning to a bullish scenario. The structure is bullish. Why is the structure bullish? We went above a flip zone. We accepted it. 6880 was a flip zone. We broke it. We accepted in the early morning session yesterday. Continued higher, and pullbacks are just leading to rallies. And today we're opening up at the overnight high being a new high in terms of the trend. The problem with this is you're kind of opening up a little bit too much to the upside. I think we get a sell off early down to support and then off we go. All right. Looking to buy into weakness for the first time in a few weeks that I can remember. And in these kind of days, I do want to give you a cautionary note because the approach to buying dips and the approach to getting long into trend structure, into bullish trend structure, differs widely from the approach to selling strength in a bearish trend structure, right? There's things you have to adapt for and adjust that you're either consciously doing or subconsciously have done in order to take advantage of the downside the last couple of weeks. And on these transition days, just be very careful. Don't take your bearish trading repertoire and put it into a bullish market. Recipe for disaster. Understand that pullbacks go a little bit deeper in the bullish side of things into our buying balances, and it could take a little bit longer and it's less volatile. So when you flip the bullish trend structure, your patience level has to increase automatically. Don't just come out here and start firing shots. It's not the way to go about it. On the bear side, you tend to get away with it because greed, or fear rather, is 3 times stronger than greed. Therefore, when you're getting fear pricing into the market, it's going to sell off quicker. You get quicker trades, more opportunities, quicker take profits. All right, less risk on the stop side. On the buy side, it's a little different. So if today's going to be anything, make it a conscious adjustment day, because if you don't, you might have wished that you did. Flip zone is the 90 to 94. That's kind of the pardon me, that's the break and acceptance level of price structure and the higher low after that acceptance of the break. So we really don't want to get too much lower than that to stay long. So we got, 40 points of downside where we could still be long. The goal in today's session will be to be patient enough for the right opportunity to get in. If you get in too soon, even though we're bullish and even though we're going up, you could end up getting your stop wiped on the downside move. You keep buying, flip your idea to be short, and then it explodes higher. So what I'm challenging the TradePro members in the room is to be patient enough for the pullback to make sense, and until we get our quality setups, our A+ one setups, our next best trades. That's what we want to focus on. It's not called NAT, next average trade. We don't want NAT. We want NBT, next best trade. So that's going to be the focus today. It will require a little more patience. Just heads up off the hop. Long areas of interest, 69.12. I mean, shoot, you're already kind of pretty far away from that. And then the 03 and 07, which is the PDCC, the prior day cash close. And then lastly, the 90 to 94, which is the flip zone. So because we were going into the session with from the 28, it looked like the 12 to 16 was pretty good, right? And then this level, and then lastly, this level. Now, when you see some of the volume profile, some of the wick here and the delta, even these mid-20s could look pretty good if we have the right info. So I'm going to add that to the trading plan based on trend development since I did it. 69, 23, 25. You know what? It's more like 20, 25. All right, that's the 4 areas of opportunity, with the last one being the flip zone itself. Daily targets to upside of the 44, 69, 55 has got massive open gamma. So as we approach the 55, be very cautious because that might act like a pin. A pin meaning it's going to hit that level and just stop dead in its tracks and rotate for, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, all day, multiple days, who knows? All right, but if we can break above it, then 69, 65 is the next target. Those are your 3 targets. Rally mode is back on. We got to buy into weakness, not strength. This should say weakness, aka buying to the pullbacks. And we got to adjust, adapt to the market structure because we have flipped to the bull side. Now the onus is on the bulls. We had a lot of selling. We couldn't break the low for multiple days, multiple weeks. The sell pressure was on. The question now is, what can the bulls do with this new elevated optimism? They need to take it, and we need to keep going. We can't look back and fail today and start messing around back down here into these mid 70s. It's just not a good look if we do that. All right. Just remember, there's going to be psychological adjustment today on how you trade, flipping from multiple bearish days in a row and selling rallies to buying the dip. So give yourself the space and time to adjust. Flip zone for Gamma 6,900. Call resistance is at 6,950. We have a big Gamma level and a big call resistance there as well. It's near our second target. So watch out if you get that long. That's why it's better to get it in a pullback almost, even the 16, because then 16 to the 50, you got a lot more space than 36 to the 50, right? You don't want to chase this thing. I think in the open, we get a pullback and then we get an expansion 30 to 40 minutes into the session around 10 p.m. That's a guess, right? Don't actually build your plan off that. This is just insight based on watching this thing since 2001, all right? 25 years. Um, 1 day maximum is 71. 1 day minimum is 63 or 68.35 on the ES. That's based on options, positioning prices. Net gamma exposure is very low today, 0.34 million. It is positive, but dealers are hedged around the 6,900. And if we stay around 6,900 to the 55, there are very little adjustments needed for the dealer book to be in line with gamma. So 6,900 is support, 6,955 is the stick level. As we approach it, it's going to be really big resistance, and there's going to be big selling that comes out into the market. But if gamma is so low, it kind of neutralizes the effect of gamma, the net GX. If it was a bit higher, it would help fade in this situation. The gravity scenario is on. And if it was negative, it would be a free fall, right? It would have to chase. So dealers kind of hedged, not really too big of an influence in today's market, but let's see how the day develops. All right. I have a big call wall at like 7,000. I don't think that ends up being a huge influence. Last but not least, the 7,000 is far. That's the only reason. Let's switch to trading view, take a look at some charts. Your Meg 7 names are pretty firm and higher, especially Nvidia going to earnings today, higher over the pre-market and extended hour session. Apple's not, and Google not doing too good. They're kind of lower today, but you're getting Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Tesla, and Nvidia higher. And most importantly, the ratio here of NQ to ES, if you take a look and zoom out a little bit, yesterday's session close was here. Let's just look at the close from yesterday to the overnight price action. Yeah, somewhere around here. NASDAQ relative to the ES took a really big jump up here into the Asia session reopen. Around 3.75 marks the high. All right, well, it's not exact, to be honest with you, because the scale needs to be fixed. But forget the number. We just look at the trend. We pushed up, and then pretty quickly after that, and going into the London Open, NASDAQ got weak or more balanced relative to the ES. And then pre-market, we started getting excited here going into 9 a.m., but we're selling off at the moment too. So this really kind of just confirms the rally is led by tech strength, excitement, I think, in Anthropic's latest announcement, um, and just overall just optimism back to risk on. But what you're going to have to do is not try to get too long, too quickly off the open and be patient for a pullback level that confirms. It confirms with a level, it confirms with imbalances, and it confirms with MBO, and it confirms with useful information aside from just your, oh yeah, it's up, I'm going to buy it here, because recipe for disaster. Um, that's what I got for you guys. Were you guys seeing the video the whole time? This is video unavailable here on YouTube. Marco, good morning, sir. Yeah, it's snowing in New York too. Well, can't wait to get out of here. I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot how much the winter makes me gloomy since I got here. So that's it, YouTube. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your session, great rest of your day. I'll be back at my office tomorrow. I'll be flying home, and so I'll see you there. I'm hoping to catch a flight home tonight. Worst case, one more hotel session, but I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm home in my office tomorrow. So love you guys. Have a great day. We'll be back to the channel, back to the update, hopefully in our typical settings tomorrow morning. Let's trade this. Just remember that, today could be a transition day, and with transition days, you have to be kinder to yourself, more accommodating, and more adaptive than just going out there and having big expectations. I dial the expectations down a little bit for yourself. All right. Take care. Oh, 18 degrees Celsius in London. That's beautiful. That's the best weather. High teens, low 20s with some sunshine. You got like maybe a light hoodie on, just walking around, breathing in life. Love it. All right, you do. Take care. Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good trading session and goodbye.